Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everybody, my name is Putri Luthfiani Fadhila. Today I'm gonna be talking about simple past tense. This is one of the most exciting and important tenses in our series of English verb tenses. Why? Because we use this tense so often to talk about all kind of things. For example, you can use this tense to tell someone what you did yesterday. You can also use this tense to tell somebody what happened in the world 500 years ago. So, whatever you are trying to describe that happened before now, you can use the past simple tense. So, are you with me? Are you ready to learn this tense? Let's get started. So, you see here on the board, I show you a timeline. We see now, okay? And everything before now is in the past. So, when we talk about the past simple tense, we are talking about a time that is before now or in the past. But past simple specifically is talk about something that happened in the past and it finished and it's over. Okay, we can't talk about an actions or an event or situations that started and ended in the past. Okay, and that is shown here by this little x. These things happened before, okay? So now let's look at a little sample of what this tense sound like when we actually use it with a basic verb. The verb is to work. So in some way this is so easy because when we use the past simple tense with all of these different subject, you just have to learn one word. So for example, if our best verb is to work, in the past we just say worked. Work. What did we do? We just add ed. So say it after me. I work. You work. We work. They worked. He worked. She worked. It worked. That's it. You just use the past simple tense. Good for you. Now let's look at when we use the past simple tense. Okay, so we can use it with time expressions or without time expressions. What do I mean by that? Let's see. Brian called last week. So when we say last week, that is a time expression. It's a word that tell us about time, like yesterday, last month, last year's, 5 years ago. These are all time expressions. So of course, you can use a time expression with the past tense. What is the past tense here? The word called. But you could also use the past simple tense without times expressions. So you can simply say I cook dinner. Okay, and as as soon as I use this word cook, we know that we are talking about the past. Next, we can use the past simple tense to talk about the recent past or the distant past. What do I mean by that? The recent past means something that something that just happened a short time ago, and the distant past means something that happened a long time ago. Let's look at some examples. We visit her yesterday. Okay? Yesterday is not very long ago, so we could use it with the past simple. We could also use the past simple to talk about something that happened way back. She lived in London a long time ago. Right, so it doesn't matter. We can use it in all these cases. Okay? Next, we can use one verb or we can use many verbs in the sentence. It doesn't matter. Usually, they will all be in the past simple. For example, we can use it for one action. She talked to her manager. What is the verb here? Talk. Or we can use it for many action. Okay, in one sentence. Even they invited their friends, order pizza, and watch the game. Okay, so here we have three verbs. Doesn't matter. You can have as many verbs as you need to, and it's not a problem. Most of the times, once you start in the past simple, you are going to stay in that tense of okay. And here we have the other verb in our example. So these are the main situation in which you can use freely and easily the past simple tense. Now let's look at how we form the past simple tense. So the first thing you have to remember when you are working with this tense is that in English there are two kinds of verb, regular verb and irregular verb. How do we know which is which? Well, it's kind of a little tricky, but the regular verbs are the one that in the past tense they just have ed or d. They end like that. For examples, work become work, clean become cleaned, watch become watched. Right? So in all those cases, we see that there is a ed. This is the most common ending. We will see later there are a few other ways that we can do it, but usually we add ed, but in the irregular verbs that doesn't happen. We don't have a past tense form which has ed. In the irregular cases, sometimes the verb changes a little bit and sometimes it changes completely. You probably already have heard many of these words, though, so you probably do know them. So let's look at the verb go. In the past, it's become when, completely different. See becomes so. I see today, I saw yesterday. Buy become put. So those are just some examples of the irregular one. Okay, they are many more, and we are going to look at exactly how that work a little bit later. But for now, let's start with the regular verb. Okay, and I will show you exactly what to do and how to use them in a positive sentence, in negative sentence, and in equations. So we already look a little bit at the positive or affirmative sentence, and we saw that all we do is we take the best form of our verb. So let's say our best verb here is the verb to work, right? This is the best form before we make any change to it. So when we put into past simple tense, in this case, it's a regular verb, so we just add ed, and we can use that some verb for all of the subject, right? You remember that from the beginning. I work, you work, we work, they work, he work, she work, it work. You don't have to change it. This is a lot easier actually in English than in many other language where there are different forms for every subject. So sometimes English is actually easier and might be easier than many other language. Okay, so that's for the positive sentence. Now let's look at what happened when we make it negative. Make a negative sentence. So then we say I didn't work. So what happened here? Here you have to use a helping verb, which is the verb do in the past did, and negative didn't. Didn't is the short form that we usually use in conversations. We say I didn't work, but what does it stand for? Didn't is actually is a short form or a contractions of two words did not. So you could say we did not work, but usually if we are just speaking in regular conversation, we just say we didn't work. So say it after me. We didn't work. It's a little bit tricky to get it out of your mouth, but if you practice it, you will get it right. Next, what happened when we ask equations? We have to use the same helping verb again. This times the order changed off, okay? So we put it first. Did I work? Did you work? Did we work? Did they work? Did he work? Did she work? Did it work? Okay, now did you realize something? Here we had to change the verb, right? And the positive sentence, the verb change. We add that ed. And we said they work. But here, what happened? We come back to the past form of the verb, right? We just said they didn't work. And what happened with the question? We come back to the past form of the verb. We said, did they work? So the only place where you really need to change the verb at all, the regular verbs, is here. And positive or affirmative sentence, okay? Now remember that when you asking questions, first of all, this is just like a regular question, right? Did they work yesterday? For example, you could also ask what is called negative questions. You could say something like, didn't they work yesterday? I thought so. Didn't you work yesterday? Okay, it's possible, okay? Or you could ask a question that begin with one of the question word. What are the question word again? Who, what, when, where, why, how much, how many, right? So then what happened? We put it before this. We have to keep the same structure and we say, where did they work? When did he work? Why did she work? Okay, so just put the question word if you have one before did. But we need the word did to form the question, so this is the entire structure of the past simple tense for regular verb. Okay, so let's do a question together. I have a blank. I will tell you the verb. I want you to tell me, is it simple past or not simple past, okay? Past on the time word you see. So let's get started. Yesterday, I blah 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 a movie. So the verb is see. Yesterday, I see a movie. Yesterday, I have seen a movie. Or yesterday, I saw a movie. What do you think it is? Do you think it's simple past or present or future? It is simple past. So, how do we know it is simple past? We have our key clue. Yesterday, okay? So, I think enough from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.